When you stand praying, all you got to do is just believe, and you shall have whatsoever you pray. Just believe.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosalind Farrell, and I will be your host for tonight's Just Breathe podcast. And I am going to bring on our special guest tonight, Ms. Demetrus Coonrod from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome, Demetrus, to the Just Breathe podcast. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing fabulous. How about yourself?
Doing good. Now that we've surpassed this storm and now it is shining, the sun is shining like nothing even happened.
I know.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna introduce Ms. Demetrus Coonrod. Is a justice impacted leader. She's a former Chattanooga City Councilwoman and unapologetic voice for equity, restoration, and real second chances. From incarceration to the public office, her story is one transformation, not just for herself, but for the systems that fail so many. Demetrus has spent over a decade advocating for those society pushes to the margins, fighting for access to housing, employment, education, and healing. Her work centers truth telling, policy change, and building community power from the ground up. Whether she's leading conversations for reentry, challenging outdated policies, or mentoring those coming home, she shows up with lived wisdom and fearless purpose. She's not here to inspire you, she's here to ignite impact. I love it.
Yes, thank you.
I love that. That last part. She's not here to inspire you, she's here to ignite impact.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started for tonight's podcast on justice impacted leadership, getting in the trenches, and just having you share your story of being the Chattanooga councilwoman, your former Chattanooga councilwoman. So my first question to you is, what motivated you to initially run for city council?
You know, Rosalind, it was several decisions that came into that. It really wasn't on my radar at first, but however, once I returned home from prison and realized, hey, this community is gonna send me back to prison. Like it was designed for it to be that way, you know. And I was like, man, something gotta change. And what I began to do is start organizing in my community because we had, you know, over 312 abandoned houses in our neighborhood. We had 22 drug houses in our community. Prostitution was happening. We were stepping over bodies with the crime, with the shootings in our neighborhoods. And I realized, listen, I want something different for our community. So just organizing and bringing awareness to what's going on. It was like a whole awakening came about. And the guy that I was dating at the time, Terrence Etchison, may he rest in peace, he got killed at a gas station, which was 5 blocks away from my grandmother's home. And I was like, no, we got to do something different. Like the black on black killing had done, spiraled out of control. And then I realized that as a single parent at that time and transitioning from prison to home and not having the tools and resources to even send my own children to attend a recreational center camp. And I was like, man, as low cost as it is, but at the time, having trouble finding employment and just kind of doing the red robin around. And I got active, knocking on doors, getting everybody out in the community, organizing to take our community back block by block.
Wow. That's an amazing story. I mean, to bounce back from that and then go back out into the community and serve with purpose.
Yes.
So that's an amazing testimony. God bless you for that.
Thank you.
What did you find most surprising about the role once you were in office, if there were any surprises?
What surprised me the most once I got in office was how much of the work was relational and not just procedural. Because you can introduce the best policy and have the best ideas, in the world. But if you can't build relationships across the departments within government or with your fellow council members, and most importantly, with the community, right? Nothing will move, right? It'll just be at a standstill. Yeah, it's a great idea, but you didn't build those relationships that kind of move it forward. And then also, I was kind of surprised by how often small decisions made within government had a big ripple effect. So we would think it's just a vote on a zoning change, but to a neighborhood or community, that vote could affect housing access, the traffic flow, even like a grocery store coming to your neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I didn't realize how emotionally taxing the role could be because people call you not just as their representative, but many a times as their lifeline, right? You carry their pain, you carry their hopes, their frustrations. It's an honor to serve, but it's also heavy. And it taught me that, leadership isn't just about making change, it's about holding space while the change unfolds. And, that's most surprising.
Wow. I admire your tenacity for hanging in there because one of the things, as you were talking about building those relationships, and you understood that as a leader. And it's so important about building those relationships because one thing I've learned is always someone looking, always someone listening.
All the time.
All the time. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a city council member?
I think, some of the biggest challenges that I kind of faced was one, I was coming in as the underdog, right? And so it had done already been publicized that, she's a convicted felon, kind of rough around the edges, most definitely gonna speak her mind. And, it was that kind of stuff like they had done already redlined me coming in, you know what I mean? So it was like a whole different type fight that I had. But on my plate, it was just balancing the urgent needs of the people with the slow pace of government because we looking at things like, man, government should be able to do this and fix this like with a snap of a finger. You're like, it's government, we're taxpayers. But that's not how it worked. Like you find government moves slower than the pace of a turtle. You know what I mean? And it's so much red tape and everything that's going into that and different policies and that you're governing by different levels of government. And when your community hurting, whether it's from, housing instability, public safety concerns, or economic disparities, you feel the pressure to deliver like right now, right? And everybody is looking at you. They want that instant microwave fix. But the legislative process is slow, politically, and it's layered with red tape, like I said before. And then another challenge, a huge challenge was like pushing for equity in a space where it's not always built at the center of marginalized voices. And speaking truth in those rooms where status quo had become comfortable, right? It takes a lot of courage. And sometimes with that comes with a lot of pushback because people are not ready to actually see the truth of what's happening in our communities that's been historically marginalized and at a disadvantage, right? And so for me, like I said, I ran to shift those systems. And I came in at a time where people were continuing to build walls. They weren't ready to tear the wall down and actually do the work.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, and the fact that you pushed past all of those challenges and those hurdles, you understood your why, your
Yes.
purpose, and look at you on today. That is like, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Um, what was your proudest accomplishment during your time on the council?
You know, my proudest accomplishment is that during my first term, I just understood how, like I said, the community that I served and many other communities, we were already at a disadvantage. And I looked at different policies or different systems that kept us in poverty. And one of those things is that welfare. I recognize that it kept our families in poverty. It stripped families apart. And so I wanted something to be created to where people can have their first point of contact, that immediate access to tools and resources to help them improve their lives, right? So that upward mobility. And we were able to create a Department of Workforce Development to help people that was, if you were re-entering into society. And a lot of people just think when you say re-entry, it's only minimized to those that are incarcerated, but re-entry is every day of your daily life, right? So you could be somebody struggling with addiction, somebody returning back to the workforce after you've been a stay-at-home mom. It could be somebody that's, returning back to higher education or to get their GED or, just trying to get their footing with a second chance, right? And so it was those things that I'm still passionate about today. And so we were able to create that and just really take the meaning of reentry to a whole nother level.
Yes. Isn't it amazing how our experiences help us to guide us that pathway, that detour, but even going through that experience, like from your past to now, how that kind of guides your pathway to your purpose, to your destiny.
Right.
Like, we don't always understand it, but when it manifests, you're like,
Yeah, you be like, man, I see it now. Like at first, I think it's like having that mustard seed faith. Like, man, okay, like I got the vision, or I can see it, or I hear what you're saying, but I gotta really see it produced in front of me. But when you actually see lives are being touched, not just one single person, but entire households, like
yes,
that makes the difference in the shift in our neighborhoods and our communities.
yes, absolutely. What is one thing you wish more people understood about the role of the city council or the misconception?
Whew, that government is the fix for all things, right? It's like,
Yeah.
no, government is not the fix of all things. And it's bigger. A lot of people just seeing historically, we've seen, and especially in our communities, that our elected officials that look like us,
Mhm.
they always coming with speeches or whatever. Their connecting point with us is only during the campaign time, right? But that's not, it's got to be ongoing. You got to consistently run campaigns throughout, right? So the speeches and voting on big issues, it's about doing a lot of the invisible behind the scene work that directly impact people everyday lives, right? And that's a lot of stuff that people don't see. And when they do see it, it's like, man, oh, y'all just voted on that. Y'all just kept on going. All of y'all was in line. No, no, no. It's the fight that we had behind the scenes. So when we're talking about the zoning, housing, the sanitation, public safety, youth programs, right? We deal with this stuff and everything else, and most of it is not flashy, right? And it takes hard discussions, but a lot of that fight comes from back behind the scene. And then, like I say, that misconception that we have unlimited power to fix things overnight. And the truth of that is that we operate within the system. Government is a system, and we're bound by budgets, state laws, procedural timelines, and different things like that. But people don't understand that. It's like, well, we should be able to have, say, for instance, when ADUs was a thing, I own this property. I should be able to build an additional mother-in-law suite behind my house, on the side of the house, on top of the house. But it's like, no, you got to go through, follow the laws of the state. We got to navigate and see what they say. Then we got to align the municipality laws and ordinances to align with them, because you don't want a chance getting sued, or you don't want the state to come back and say that we gonna trump what you done, and then they go, because a lot of that happens, right?
Yeah.
And so what we can do is advocate, organize, and push policy that shifts how we resource or distribute so our voices can all be heard.
Wow. That's yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. All
It's
right.
a lot.
And yeah, it is a lot. Like as you were talking, I'm like, ooh, I don't even know if I could. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and we say we want it. It's like, oh man, that person ain't doing what I wanted. I elected them to do. I thought they was gonna be like Mr. Mays from Michigan and all of that. And then you get in there and it's like, you can get tapped a couple of times, but you still gotta, keep going, even if you don't get the legislation that you desire to be passed. You just gotta keep fighting for your community and make sure that you hold to your truth.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right. What's one piece of advice that you would give to someone considering running for city council?
I say go for it. Like I encourage everybody to run that want to run for whatever office that you desire to run for. Give it your best shot because of what I encountered when I first got ready to run. People was like, "Oh, you got to go talk to this person. You got to go talk to this person. You got to go talk to this person." I'm like, "Well, what I got to go talk to them people for?" Like, I don't need their permission to go to run for office. Like, it's open to anybody or people will tell you, well, I don't think that you're ready for it, or I don't think it's just wait your turn. And, I'll try to pet you down like you a pet, like you an animal. It's like, no, it's my turn now. You know what I mean? Like, you
Mhm.
should give it a try or whatever. If you're not successful, run as many times as you want to run, right? Until you get the desired outcome that you want. Because a lot of times we get comfortable with the people that's in there because we know them. These are our church members, these are our friends, and we keep electing them and there's no result, right? It's like time and time again. And now we're frustrated. Man, I thought this would be the one time where they actually done something. It's like, no, they weren't going to do nothing because they got comfortable with taking your vote for, for advantage for them. And then we still giving it to them for free without even realize the priorities of us or our communities and our household. Those things aren't being met. So I encourage everybody, if you're old enough to do it, get in the race and do it, get the feel of it, get to talk to your community members and do your thing.
Yes. And everything you just said, I was listening to you. I was like, this goes right along with she's not here to inspire you. She's here to ignite impact.
Yes.
Ball of firecracker. I love
Uh,
it. Like you said, go for it.
go for it. Like it's
Turn
no
your head
reason
down
why.
and go for it. Yes.
Yeah, and we should be, pouring into each other, the next generation, encouraging them too, because we can see from a national level to our state level and even our local level, you have the people that are 70 and 80, running our country or running our state or what, like at that age, like we should be saying, giving them their flowers. Thank you so much. You've done absolutely everything that you can. Like pass the torch. You know what I mean? We need to have just younger people, younger minds, people that have new ideas for shared spaces to move us forward from the point of the last representative. We should be happy to do that. Be like, go run your race. And then from the next person, hey, I was here 2-3 years, you go run your race. We gonna all get together to support each other because if not, we don't have a pipeline of people prepared and ready. And then that's how we end up with folks in office that just simply don't care about us. It only becomes a check at that point.
Yes. That's amazing. I am so glad we had this opportunity to finally get on this podcast and chat. I remember when I first met you, we were on the same platform to speak at an event, and I was like, I gotta get her on the podcast because you are a ball of fire with so much knowledge and so much. You just have that funk, and I'm like, I'm just connected with you. Like, man, we're gonna stay connected. And thank you so much for your yes. Thank you for sharing with us on tonight. I truly appreciate it. And you will always have an open invitation to come on to the Just Breathe podcast.
Thank you so much. I
Yes,
appreciate that because we
yes.
need more people, getting involved. It don't matter what state that you're in, like the policies and things are all the same. And it really, to me, it doesn't matter what you identify as politically, because one thing I know for certain is that if you're poor, you're gonna be affected. It's
Yes.
it's it's not just about your skin color in 2025. It's about your socioeconomic status.
Yes.
And we have to start educating our people on that. Like, let's move up out of poverty.
Yes. Yes. So, would you like to share any of your information with our listeners that they go back and they want to listen, or anyone that aspires to be a councilwoman? Any books, any information, website that you like to share? Please do so at this time.
Yes, absolutely. I wrote two books now. So one is called Prison of Purpose, A Past That Shaped My Future. It's on Amazon. You can connect and you can get that. We'll ship it right to you. It's also on audio as well. It's in all the bookstores that you can order from them personally. You can order from me, and I'll ship it from you to you directly with a signed copy. Then I wrote a book on grief, A Path of Shadows, and so that's DemetrusCoonrod.com. You can go on there now and you can order that book, and I'll sign it for you and send it out to you. And if you just want to be involved in politics, you want to ask questions, you want to link up just to have a strategy session, email me at Demetrus for Chattanooga at gmail.com, because it's time that we create, pathways for everybody across the United States to get mobilized. And like I said, it's about people coming together united. It don't matter what color that you are, black people, white people, Hispanics, everybody, because one thing I know for sure, like I said earlier, is that if you're poor and you making under a certain amount of money, income wise, then we already know that what's coming down is going to affect us, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people now that's looking at what's coming down from the federal level. And if you look at it, it's hitting everybody across a specific economic status. You know what I mean? So it's hitting everybody. And there's black people, white people who didn't even imagine that it'll affect them, right? But it's showing them a whole different lens, like, oh, it's coming for you too. It ain't just black people. So yeah, we got to organize a whole different way now. So get in
Yes.
touch. I'm ready to help.
Yes, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for joining the Just Breathe podcast. It's been a pleasure speaking with you on this evening. Thank you for all the listeners that were able to join us on tonight. If anyone aspires to be my special guest, please reach out to me at what is your detour at gmail.com. I would love to have you as my special guest. And as always, weeping might endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. And remember to just breathe. Thank you.
Man.